Hello Nigeria, time for our top story. Today we'll be looking at a topic that is not often discussed in Nigeria, and we're looking at care for the elderly. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, people celebrating their love, but oftentimes love is not extended to this group of people, and we have a special guest in the studio to help us discuss this today. His name is Dr. Ebi Ofrey. Has been a medical doctor for close to 16 years and a business management consultant for about 8 years now. He has a degree in medicine and surgery from the acclaimed University of Ibadan and a master's in business administration from the UCSI University, Malaysia, for which he graduated as a top student of his graduating class. He's the CEO and co-founder of Gerocare Solutions Limited, and prior to which he has been the medical director of a Bayelsa State Government Hospital and more recently head of medical services for Bayelsa State Services Scheme, a state-owned health insurance scheme. He has a passion for starting and growing businesses, a skill which was acquired by having been involved in a few startup businesses himself. His business plans have won prizes nationally, and is the author of a series of books in the Dr. Ebi Ofrey Business Advisory series, and also written and produced a series of health information audio CD referred to as the Demystifying series, which include demystifying HIV and AIDS, demystifying cervical cancer, and more. Nice to have you, Dr. Ebi Ofrey.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Hello
Thank
Nigeria.
you for coming on the show.
Now, we're looking at care for the elderly in Nigeria, and like I said in the intro, it's often neglected. I don't know if it's a good thing because we don't have a lot of old people's homes. People will say, oh, we take care of our own, and that. So what do you make of it in general? What's the current situation of things
The truth
when it
is
comes to overage persons in the country?
The truth is that many times when we think aged people, we think those that are destitute and, you know, have a kind of look. Some people say it reminds them of witchcraft and so on and so forth. But the truth is, we in the middle class, actually, our parents are actually aged. And then when you think about it, what brought us to this notion of taking care of the elderly was the fact that even I myself, having been a doctor for over 15, 16 years, my father still had 2 strokes. My mother called me that her blood pressure is extremely high, but that was not even the main thing. She said I had neglected them. She said that jokingly, but I knew it was true. And if we all take a look at our lives, we realize while focusing on our families, taking care of them, we somehow subconsciously neglect these people. They might not say it, but they actually feel neglected. So when you think of care of the elderly, don't think just those that are destitute. Even our parents at home actually feel this loneliness once in a while and need to be looked at.
I like the fact that you mentioned loneliness, but because in research, loneliness is said to be one of the things that plague older people the most, because for many of them, they're not working anymore.
Yes.
They don't have anywhere to go. They just play around, hopefully have grandchildren to also, but the children have to go to school as well. In Nigeria in particular, what would you say are some of the top things that plague older people, the top needs here in Nigeria?
You've mentioned one, which is the loneliness and companionship. And the others are basically medical, in the sense that as you age, everybody develops certain chronic conditions. Many times you may feel certain things and say it's just old age. It's not just old age. You need to check to find out which is old age and which is a problem.
And is there a disease called old age, really? Can you diagnose old age?
No, not really. You can't diagnose old age.
Right. So loneliness, medical, any other thing?
The medical ones are basically hypertension and diabetes, which are the key. Then the cancers. For men, mostly pancreatic cancer, because as you grow, the prostate enlarges for men, and then it can either be non-malignant or non-cancerous or cancerous, but you need to find out on time. But even if it's not cancerous, it can grow to a level whereby it obstructs urine. So all those things are the reasons why they're supposed to check their prostate early and make sure they mitigate these things before they get too far.
Now, looking at Nigeria and talking about medical care, I don't understand how it works with the government run hospitals, but I'm aware that in some private hospitals, if a patient is above a certain age, they consider them senior citizens. They ask for an extra type of deposit before they even administer that basic care. I mean, you all took the Hippocratic Oath, and it's saving a life that is paramount, but it's, unfortunately in these climes, people want money first. How do we change that?
Okay. With regards to that, though, I'm not fully aware that for the aged, certain extra deposits are required.
Or
But
health
for
insurance,
health insurance,
yes.
It's because usually they have chronic conditions that are very costly to manage. As such, it's not profitable. I don't want to use that word, but there's no, for lack of a better word to use, for health insurance companies to actually manage these people because their bills are recurrent. It's not like they will have it this time and not have it again. No, once they start having it, they have it continually. So it's quite difficult for them to manage that in their own portfolios. So there are various ways that this can be taken care of. We all know that many times when these elderly are expected to handle their own care, they actually neglect it. Not because they want to neglect it, but because they just cannot afford it. And then many of the times their children can, but as our parents are, they're selfless love. They don't really bother you for this kind of things. So there needed to be a way whereby these children can handle this care from wherever they are in the world. Let mama not worry about it. I send a doctor to see her. They give me the prescriptions in the UK or in Lagos. I pay for it. We deliver the drugs to them, do the tests for her. If that's the situation, she's more likely to make a statement when there's a problem.
That's good. So you're being, being proactive in caring for your elderly, for your elderly relatives.
And I believe this is the field in which your company, Gerocare, plays. So could you run us through? You just described something that sounds like a taxi ride-sharing type of innovation. So you're leveraging on technology to care for the aged in Nigeria. So how does it work?
The story of Gerocare will not be complete without stating why we started. And it was from a personal need. Like I mentioned, my father had a stroke, 2 in 2 years. My mother's blood pressure and blood sugar were extremely high. And there is nothing I could have done about it because I was not there. And that is the situation with many Nigerians today, living and working far from where the parents are. And the only time they hear anything is when something goes tragically wrong. So the question was, is there a way whereby no matter where you are in the world, you can ensure their healthcare needs are met and also remind them that you care? That was why my co-founders and I created Gerocare to solve this problem for my parents and the millions of Nigerians across the continent and across the world basically experiencing the same thing. So the question now is, what is Gerocare? So it is a subscription-based service for the elderly that entitles them to regular visits in the comfort of their home by a medical doctor to not only detect and manage conditions early, thereby increasing their life expectancy, but also improving their quality of life, which is remaining healthy, happy, and comfortable. But that's not all. At the same time, we, the children who pay for the service, can follow this care real time on our mobile devices. So when a doctor gets to our house, we know he's there. When he leaves, we know he has left. We get a report on what happened in that visit and what needs to be done. And if we want to allow Gerocare handle it, they also take care of the medications and the tests in their home.
This is interesting because we often say that the life expectancy in developed worlds, in developed countries, is much higher than in Nigeria. I think Nigeria is about 55 or thereabouts.
About 54,
54, 55. And in other parts of the world, it's upwards of 65, 70. And you see them, older people, still taking the bus, still going sightseeing, still going on holidays. And it's great. And that's because they have a vibrant healthcare sector. So the care sector, the hospital and health sector in the UK is very vibrant. You have care homes. You have even those who don't want to go into homes, in their own homes, they can have people just like what you're talking about. So it's really important. Now, you've talked about the medical care for them. Is there anything with regards to loneliness and companionship? Because some people also talk about, you know, friendships. Some people take these older people out sightseeing.
I mean, you're called Gerocare.
Because it's the care of the elderly holistically. There are people who organize trips for older people, just for them, take them out, have nurses, have healthcare practitioners go with them. What do you think about that? Can we possibly do that in Nigeria?
And how important is it in the overall health and well-being of a person?
It's quite important. And then we like to see ourselves as the one-stop shop for everything elderly. So in addition to the medical care, we are partnered with other services that provide other things. So for instance, even little things like the consumables and the diapers and stuff like that they use, we can't provide for you. We're also in talks with a few people to get this sort of, I won't say outing sessions going. One feedback from one of our clients in Ibadan, the feedback from the father was that he's just glad to have an educated person to speak to regularly. So apart from the medical care, he wants to be able to dialogue. But most of the time, the caregivers, their presence cannot talk to him at his level. I know Ibadan with the professors that are there, they like very intellectual discussions. Yes. So apart from the things they talk about, I actually ran this service myself before starting as Gerocare in Port Harcourt. And fortunately, the people I saw, they started calling them, Dr. Ebi's girlfriends because they all looked forward to my
For the older women. And that's so complimentary.
So they beautiful. Actually, I knew the stories basically of all their neighbors. They like to talk. So apart from the care, once you get there, you dialogue with them, they're reminded of their children. And they also have bragging rights. My son in UK sent a doctor to see me in the house. That's just for the neighbors.
Exactly.
When I come, he has come type of thing. So it makes them happy. It reminds them that you exist in the US.
Fantastic.
Because especially for our mothers, I love you is not enough.
Yeah.
True.
They need to see activity of an action you have taken.
But I have to have a question. I have a question, so ask a question with regards to that.
Okay.
One of the fears of homes in Nigeria is that it's impersonal. And we are raised up as Africans to, like you said, look after our own. Do they still not feel that impersonal touch that, no, but I want my son to be the one to take me to the hospital? Because the truth is that we're much like that, be in the homes of your child, let your child come and take you on hospital visits. How do you overcome that so people are more open to seeing that the fact that you're not physically the one to take them to the hospital doesn't mean you don't love or care for them or to reassure them as well?
Okay, with regards to that, there are two things. First of all, we doctors have an unfair advantage in the sense that they already want to like us from the beginning, and so it's easier for us to get along with them. Secondly, yes, they're old, but they know what's happening. They know the economic situation. The person that went to the US is not because he doesn't love her. It's because he needs to fend for himself and do other things to support her. So they understand these things. So the fact they are taking a step is the thought and the action that counts. You may be there and not do anything. They won't tell you anything, but they will think it. You've been there for so and so time, when they have issues, nothing is happening, but they don't bother you. But the truth is, at the end of the day, you will still find out. So two things. One, since we are doctors, we're also trained in some good bedside manners, so we have a way of approaching these things. And secondly, they understand that if he was here, he would have done it, but we are the next best thing.
Now, this sounds like a fantastic idea. I just want to know how you deal with remote areas, because Nigeria is geographically a very huge area. How many places do you cover, and what are some of the challenges you face in the course of discharging your duties? Yeah.
Right now, let me go to the challenges first. Because of our health-seeking culture in Nigeria, we're still not very clear on the need for preventive care. So they say, no, but my mother is feeling fine. She does not need a doctor. Well, there's stories we've heard about someone that collapsed and something happened to him. They say, but I saw this guy in church this morning. He was fine. The question is, was he fine or was nobody just checking? Because when his BP moved from 130 to 140, nobody was there. 140 to 150, nobody was there. Till it was 200 and the man had a stroke and they felt it was normal. There's a case we had in Abuja of a friend of ours that actually subscribed to Gerocare because he is our friend. My mother is fine, but just go and see her. We got there and her blood sugar was off the roof. She's lucky not to have been in a coma.
Wow.
But he thought he was helping us.
Oh, like, let's just patronize.
So preventive care is always the key because, one, it's cheaper and it helps you have a record of your health. The good thing about our application is the fact that you have the records of Mama on your phone. So for the last 5 months or so, you know everything happening. In the event you need to talk to somebody, just bring out your phone, look at her reports, and be able to tell them what's happened at this point in time.
So even if you go to a hospital, you could show, and a doctor will be able to interpret
what was done. But the beauty also is that our reports come in a format whereby you see the prescription, you see the diagnosis, you see the investigations, and a summary in a language you can understand.
And in a writing also that is legible.
That is legible.
Yes.
Oh, but let's talk about generally about with Nigerian hospitals. Do you think that our doctors are well trained to look after the elderly? We have talked about, I love the fact that you say that.
There's not a lot of focus on
There's
them.
no, because it's like, we're even still dealing with the younger people and we are not yet succeeding. Please, you've done enough. So they're not quite sympathetic sometimes to older people. How better can we do this? Do we have a department or agency to care for the older citizens in Nigeria?
With regards to the doctors, they're well trained to take care of the elderly. Just that there are limited number of geriatric specialists, but family physicians can't handle the elderly.
Oh, that's what the special.
Geriatrics, yeah.
Geriatrics.
Family physicians can't handle the elderly. And the issue about being more sympathetic, if you notice, we have a limited number of doctors in the country, and many times what seems like non-sympathy is just the fact that there are so many people to be seen. I always tell people that one advantage also of what we do is that the doctor has a minimum of 30 minutes with you. You can talk. But while we were functioning in government places, it's not like we don't want to spend time, but there are 50 people outside. And so then the truth is that...
So we have a deficit of doctors.
So we have to be faster. So what may seem as a non-empathetic doctor is just a doctor trying to see everybody on time. So really, in that case, sometimes some things may slip through the cracks. It's not because they want it to, but because they are short of time and need to get across all these people, and so they go home. We hear people say, if you go to the hospital, you spend the whole day there. That's what we're trying to prevent. So that's it. They can't handle them, but they need to actually have an opportunity to spend more time with them. Because Mama will remember the most important thing after she's gotten back home.
Yeah.
Very true.
After she told you about her son and her daughter and showed you grandchildren's pictures. I remember
when I used to see them, when I was at the door, they would say, doctor, one more thing, and that's the main thing. That's what they should have said first. But because you spend time and they're more relaxed, they can open up to you. But that's not likely to happen in a hospital setting.
All right.
Fantastic. So what's the future for Gerocare?
Well, first, is to increase the awareness about the importance of preventive care. We all need to find a way to take care of our elderly. Don't expect that when you say aged, it's just the ones that there's not. Even our parents are having some issues that we can't handle. So it's to increase the awareness. Let people know, look, do these things on time. Secondly, I think that's basically the key thing. Because once you know that, you take the action and we're able to help you. Fortunately, when you think that way, there is no longer who would I call. We are here to handle it, and it's a very simple process. Just go to our website, create an account for yourself, add the details of the elderly, and then make payments, and then that's all you need to do.
So how can people get in touch with you, social media, your website?
Okay, our website is www.gerocare, Gerocare.org. Okay. Instagram, we are at Gerocare. Twitter, Gerocare_NG. And Facebook, our page is Gerocare Solutions. All right. And we have a dedicated client services WhatsApp page. All right. And the number is 0701.
All right. I think once people get on your website, they'll be able to get the numbers because usually it's too fast. But the best thing, if you please take a very close note of the website so that if you'd like to, I think this is fantastic. We've spoken about it a number of times.
The easiest way is Instagram and social media. Just go there and then we'll provide you all the answers you need.
Super. And I think your social media handle is also on the screen. So people can quickly scribble that and contact Dr. Ofrey once
it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Dr. Ebi Ofrey, about care for the elderly in Nigeria. And fantastic work you're doing. I hope one day the United Nations World Health Organization celebrates you and you keep the Nigerian flag flying. Thank you very much for taking time.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
We'll go on.
To enjoy more of these our Ogbonge videos when you just watch, press this button to subscribe on top of our YouTube page. You go love am.